सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
From the five. Shadanga sahita veda vidnyayante yaya dhiya. Sadhira para vidya syad brahmadhistu paramata. So what is apara vidya and what is para vidya is shown. All the knowledge that is found in the Vedas with the 6 auxiliaries, Shadangas, is bracketed as apara vidya, the knowledge that is not that superior or higher. Brahmadhihi, knowledge of Brahma, is para vidya. In this context we have seen the doubt. If Brahma Vidya is not in the Vedas, it is something that is not acceptable, because Veda serves as the pramana, the valid means of knowledge to know the things which are not directly accessible to the human intellect. Whatever the human intellect can discover, that is not the job of Vedas, though at places some passing remarks will be there. For example, gravitational force, 32 feet per second, the physicists, they have, that is determined till now. Tomorrow it may change also, that is fine. But Vedas also speak of some force with wherein the earth attracts the things unto itself. There may not be the name gravitational force as such, but the force by which the things get attracted towards earth, there is such force is there. It's a dialectical, it is there, not with mathematical precision, because science is not the field of Vedas. Where the science ends, Vedas begin. Those things which human intellect cannot discover on its own, there the Vedas comes and tells us. If Vedas had not told us, this, that is the branch of knowledge, will be totally unknown to humanity. What is one's true nature? What is the nature of the creator principle, Paramatma Tattva, rebirth, heaven, etc.? This cannot be known on one's own. Vedas have to come and tell us. So, now here, if Brahmadhihi, Brahma Vidya, is beyond the purview of Vedas, it should be something that is not acceptable. This doubt is now dispelled in stanza 6 and 7. Upanitena vidneya veda sarvena tavata. Upanitena vidneya veda sarvena tavata. Brahmadhi kintu vairagye syadacharyopadeshataha. Brahmadhi kintu vairagye syadacharyopadeshataha. Anvaya. Upanitena, add adhyara, adhikarina. Upanitena adhikarina sarve vedaha vidneyaha, add eva. Upanetena adhikarina sarve vedaha vidneyaha eva. Natavata brahmadhihi, add bhavati. Natavata brahmadhihi bhavati, bhavati to be added. Kintu vairagye sati acharyopadeshataha. If you want, you can add brahmadhihi syat. Kintu vairagye sati acharyopadeshataha, add brahmadhihi syat. So distinction between the Paravidya, Aparavidya from the standpoint of the Vedas is being drawn. Upanitena adhikarina. Adhikari, an eligible person. An eligible person who is upanitaha. Upanitaha means the one whose upanayana ceremony has been done. One who has been given the Diksha of Gayatri Mantra. So one who does the Japa of Gayatri Mantra, including Sandhya, Vandana, etc. So because Gayatri Mantra is aimed at the brilliance of the intellect, which is indispensable for all the students, and also it is true that ladies also can chant Gayatri Mantra. In some juncture of history, some wrong notion had crept that ladies should not chant Gayatri Mantra, which is not correct. Ladies also can chant Gayatri Mantra. Maybe somewhere that it got that link might have got snapped off as such, but ladies also can chant Gayatri Mantra. So Upanitena, some say that even Upanayana ceremonies were there for girls also. And somehow in the history it got, that means somehow by custom, it got separated, whatever it may be. But Upanitena, but one thing is that study of Vedas is not meant for ladies. This, I think I had told once, you should know this word adhikaritva. Because there was a big row about this. Some Shankaracharya said ladies have no adhikara, and then afterward big halla gulla started. When you say adhikara is not there, what do you mean by adhikaritva? Adhikaritva is, that is, uniting the person to the phala. Veda says, if you do these things, you will get this result. Now, if a man studies Veda, he will get such results, such punya he is going to get. If a lady studies, she will not get that punya because it is not told in the Upanishad. Direct result or result here she may get, but not the adrishta phala, the unseen result in terms of punya. For example, see, you can see the adhikaritva word as such. A gentleman did a good deed, and because of that, he gets the immediate result here, satisfaction or whatever it may be, appreciation of others, etc. But punya also he is able to get. Suppose the same person did something bad, some result here may be there, he may be scolded, or he may also get the kick from others. At the same time, suppose he kicked an elderly person. Either he may lose his teeth here, but because he kicked the elderly person, there is papa. So this person is said to be adhikari for what? Both papa or punya, depending on the case, good deed or bad deed. Now suppose there is a washerman, a dhobi, who has got a dog. And night, when all are asleep, some thief came and he was taking away all the clothes. The dog barked and alerted the master. Good deed or bad deed? Good deed. What result the dog will get out of it? Master may give 2 rotis more, or the master may pat it for the thing. But there is no punya accruing to the dog. Suppose this dog bit some boy who was running. Good deed or bad deed? Bad deed. But the dog, he may get the thrashing from the master, but the dog is not going to get poor papa. So see, drishtaphala may be there, adrishtaphala is not there because it is not adhikari. So in this context we should know. Suppose a lady studies Vedas, etc., the peace of mind she may get, and that much of mastery she may get, PhD also she may get, drishtaphala. But because it is not specified there, so what is not there? That punya, the punya which generally comes on account of this study of Vedas, she is not going to get. In this sense, this word adhikaritva has to be viewed as so. That is, phala sanyojakatva. That is, connecting the person to the promised result. That is what is adhikaritva. It is not to deprive someone of something as such, because the same punya which the man gets because of study of Veda, a woman can get by simpler actions. They are not deprived of the adrishta, but they can get by simpler action. Have you seen? Suppose some sacrifice or some puja, etc. is being done. Who does the puja? The husband does. And what does the wife do? When the sankalpa is being given, she comes and touches here, write this thing. And afterwards she goes inside. You know what happens? 50% of the punya is for whom? For the wife. The wife gets the 50% of that is the adhikara for her. She is eligible for that as such. So, let these politicians and all these people know, the mass media, let them crack their head. There is nothing to deprive the ladies or something as such. If you take the past in the Vedas, you can see, like who Maitreyi and all that, at par with men she used to debate. She could challenge who? None other than Yajnavalkya. Yajnavalkya was not an ordinary person. She had that guts to challenge. And of course, he also could appreciate her knowledge, and he did give the answer to her. Otherwise, he would have brushed her aside as such. So therefore, it is not that way. So anyway, now adhikari. So here is that means a youngster, maybe at the age of 8, 9, 10 years as such, initiated to Gayatri Mantra, Upanayana. He is adhikari for study of the Vedas. So therefore he gets the promised result if he takes to it seriously. So therefore he says, Upanitena adhikarina sarve vedaha vidneyaha eva. All Vedas should be studied. Now all Vedas may not be possible for a person to study. So secondarily we can take one's own shakha, depending on the lineage, family lineage, what is called swashakha. One's own branch of Vedas, at least that much the person should study, even though not all Vedas. But he is expected to study all the Vedas. Sarve Vedaha vidneyaha eva. But natavata brahmadhihi bhavati. Let us suppose this boy that means Upanayana was done for this boy, and he studied. After 12 years, he has mastered all the Vedas. Only because this boy has mastered all the Vedas, brahmadhihi na bhavati. Brahmadhyana doesn't take place. Why? Brahmadhyana expects some spatial preparedness of the mind on the part of the seeker. We say, when does the Brahmadhyana take place? Kintu, though he has studied all the Vedas, short of Brahmadhyana, he gets everything. But he says, not everything, whatever that is promised as in terms of result. Kintu, whereas, vairagye sati acharyopadeshataha brahmadhihi syat. But if he has got the maturity of the mind, if he has analyzed the word in its right perspective and discovered that the word at its best can never make me contented. No doubt, I may get joys here and there. I may go even to the heavens, as said. I may stay there for a long period of time. But once the punya is over, kshine punye martya lokam vishanti. Once the capital of punya is over, one has to return to earth to take to actions further, so that final contentment is not possible. This who has discovered, and therefore he is not that much interested in the things that give the result right now, here or hereafter, but he is in for discovering something higher, having gained which total contentment can be gained. So therefore he says, vairagye sati. When this right evaluation of the objects, beings and the world is the events is there, so that person can gain Brahmadhyana when acharyopadeshataha, from the proper teaching of a fit, competent master, he can gain the knowledge. So therefore, only because a person who has studied Vedas doesn't mean that he can gain the Brahma Jnana. A special frame of mind is necessary, including the teaching from a competent person. That means Brahmadhihi, Brahma Jnana is in the Vedas only, but it expects special effort on the part of the seeker. Only because he has studied generally doesn't mean he can gain the Brahma Jnana. For this, how, though it is in the Vedas, why it is separately counted is explained with the help of an illustration. Vaidikyapyadhikarasya bhedadukta pruthak para Vipra parivrajakaśca tishtantīti yatha tatha. Para anvaya, para add vidya. Para vidya vaidiki api. Vaidiki api adhikarasya bhedat pruthak ukta. Vaidiki api adhikarasya bhedat pruthak ukta. Yatha vipraha parivrajakaśca tishtanti iti tatha. Yatha vipraha parivrajakaśca tishtanti iti tatha. Paravidya. Paravidya, what is paravidya? Brahmadhihi, Brahmajnana, the direct knowledge of what Brahma or Atma, one's own true nature is. So this vidya, this knowledge, Vaidiki api, even though this knowledge is something that is contained in the Vedas themselves, Vaidiki belonging to Vedas. So though it is contained in the Vedas itself, yet adhikarasya bheda, because of the distinction in the eligibility to gain aparavidya and paravidya. Now see, what is the eligibility for taking to aparavidya, study of Vedas? Upanayana, taking to Gayatri, Japa. So, and the proper study from a competent master. That is what is required to study the Vedas in general. But to gain the knowledge of Brahma, that is not sufficient. What is required? Vairagya plus Acharyopadesha. These two are required. So both are contained in the Vedas, but the eligible person is different. So therefore, adhikarasya bheda, on account of distinction in terms of eligibility, pruthak ukta. So it has been told, or it has been bracketed separately from the aparavidya, the rest of the knowledge that is contained in the Vedas. To this effect, an illustration is given. Yatha, just as vipraha parivrajakaśca tishtanti iti yatatha. Like a statement. Brahmins and sannyasis are standing there. Vipraha, Brahmins. Parivrajakaha, sannyas, are standing there. So this is a maxim. What does it mean? In olden days, those sannyasis were also Brahmins. Others are Brahmins, sannyasis also are Brahmins. Actually, from the standpoint of status of being Brahmin, there is no distinction between Brahmins and the sannyasis. Still, Brahmins and sannyasis separated distinctly shown. Why? The sannyasis have a distinct status, though earlier they were Brahmin. For example, this is a group of doctors and cardiovascular surgeons. Let us say 10 persons are there. This is a group of doctors and cardiovascular surgeons who have come from UK, let us say. A cardiovascular surgeon is a doctor or not? Yes. Others also are doctors. Why they are separately counted? Because they have a special accomplishment. That's all. Both, that means all are doctors only, But here are few who have got special accomplishment. So both are Brahmins only, but sannyasis have got certain special accomplishment. So that is this nyaya or maxim is also called as Brahmana Parivrajaka Nyaya. Brahmanas Parivrajaka Sannyasi Nyaya. Or also it is called as Brahmana Vasishtha Nyaya. So Brahman, honor those Brahmanas and Vasishtha, sage Vasishtha. Sage Vasishtha Brahmana or not? Yes. But he has got a distinct status. Like this. So we do distinguish into our Vyavahara in common transaction. Likewise, Apara Vidya is contained in the Vedas. Brahma Vidya also is there in the Veda. But to whom it is addressed and the who can truly imbibe are distinct and different, and therefore it is separately accounted. Other reason why Brahma Vidya called Para Vidya is distinctly shown from Apara Vidya. It is because Brahma Vidya, Apara Vidya, Para Vidya is the goal, Apara Vidya is the means. Apara Vidya leads the person to Para Vidya, Brahma Vidya. For example, you have come here to Kanyakumari. Your sadhya is what? To reach Kanyakumari. What was the sadhana? Bombay Kanyakumari Express, 48 hours. Or some have come by flight. Some have come from Bangalore Kanyakumari Express. How many hours? 21 hours, I think so. So some have come from Chennai Kanyakumari Express, meter gauge. So they are broad gauge only. Achha, okay, broad gauge, okay, very good. So therefore they have from Chennai Kanyakumari Express. There are one or two who have come from Coimbatore by bus also as sadhanas are different. Sadhya is what? Kanyakumari. Sadhana and sadhya cannot be one and the same, distinct. So also Apara Vidya, the rest of the knowledge contained in the Vedas, if properly taken to, can prepare the mind to gain the Para Vidya, the Brahma Vidya. From that standpoint, Sadha means Sadhya, the end. That way also they are distinct. So from that standpoint, that the distinction is pointed out here. Yasyam apara vidyayam karmanyuktani sadhakaha kurvanti karma bhishuddhi paravidyam karoti. Yasyam अपरविद्यायां उक्तानि कर्माणि साधकाः कुर्वन्ति. Add तैहि कर्मभिः शुद्धिः, further add भवति and सा. शुद्धिः भवति, then सा, he, continuing, he paravidyam karoti. सा ही paravidyam karoti. Yasyam aparavidyayam means the text of aparavidya, that are Shruti and Smriti. In the Vedas, Karma Kanda portion, Upasana Kanda portion, and the Smriti is based on the Veda. In that aparavidya, in that topic, Uktani karmani, whatever karmas that are specified and detailed there in the Aparavidya means in the Karmakanda portion of the Shruti and also in the Smriti, what is being done? Sadhakaha kurvanti. The seekers take to the performance of these karma. And what happens to by these performs karma? You say, they get the chitta shuddhi. Taihi karma bhi. By those karmas means by the performance of those karmas, by the anusthana of those karmas. So what happens? The karma be shuddhi. Purity takes place. Purity here means chitta shuddhi. Chitta Shuddhi, the purity of the mind takes place. What do you mean by purity of the mind? Annulling or terminating the duritas, the results of past bad actions if they were there, and the composure of the mind, the calm and peaceful state of the mind, they are able to get by this, because these are my duties, I have discharged, kartavyam kritam maya bhavitavyam bhavatyeva. I have done what needs to be done. What is to happen will take place, which is beyond my purview or beyond my capacity. But I have not left any duties without discharging them. So therefore, this is what expected of him, he has done, and that can give the purity of the mind. Also, it can annul the past bad results of past bad deeds. As a result, the mind becomes calm and composed, and this calm and composed mind is indispensable to gain the knowledge of Brahma. Sa means sa shuddhi, sa chitta shuddhi. That the purity of the mind, what does it do? Paravidyam he means certainly, or famous, it is so told in the Vedas, Upanishad, we do find, it is well known in the Shastra. So he paravidyam karoti, it does paravidya means, it leads the person to gain the paravidya. Without this frame of mind in terms of chitta shuddhi, next to impossible to gain the Brahma jnana. So that is, composure of the mind is indispensable to gain the knowledge of Brahma. So here what is told is, by performing the karmas told in the Vedas, he gets the chitta shuddhi and gains the Brahma jnana. To an extent, it applies to academic studies also. If one has to take to inquiry in terms of Vedanta, an analytical mind is necessary. Olden days, before learning Vedanta, the students were put on the study of Nyaya, reasoning, what is called logic, Indian logic. Okay. Why? It gives the exercise to the mind to analyze as such. Nowadays, even college education can give some to extent an analytical mind, though it may be incapable for the person to earn the bread, that different thing as such. But it gives some discipline of the mind. In olden days, if Nyaya, that is logic, is not studied, and if person takes to study of Vedanta, they used to sarcastically remark, Ayyo, Anyaya Vedanta. Anyaya Vedanta. It means without Nyaya Vedanta, but it becomes a disgrace to Vedanta. This fellow takes to the study of Vedanta without having the Nyaya. So therefore, of course, you should see this Nyaya. If you want to learn an art of complicating a simple thing, learn Nyaya. A simple definition, they will put in such a complicated manner, you have to break your head. So, but it gives a good discipline to the intellect, that is fine. So, now you say, therefore, academic studies also have a role. A lay person will not be able to take to as per the Vedanta. Of course, other means are there. The name of the Lord, etc. They are there. They are also effective up to certain stage to gain the chitta shuddhi. But finally, they have to come to this inquiry as to what is me, what is the world, and who is the creator of this world, that needs to be inquired into. So therefore, apara vidya serves as the means, the sadhana, which leads to the end, the goal, paravidya, brahmadihi, brahmajnana, atmajnana. Therefore also both are distinctly shown. Further reasons as to why paravidya and aparavidya are shown distinctly, let us see. The reason is like this. Paraya chaksharam jneyametasmin vidite sati. Sarvam jagat bhavet buddham tasya sarvatmakatvatah. Anvaya. Parayacha aksharam jneyam etasmin vidite sati Sarvam Jagat. Sarvam Jagat Buddham Bhavi. Sarvam Jagat Buddham Bhavi. Add Katham Tasya Sarvatmakatvatah Aksharam Jneyam. One should gain the knowledge of Akshara. Here Akshara is, what is Akshara? Brahma na Aksharati, that which is indestructible. So by Paravidya, one should necessarily gain the knowledge of Akshara Brahma. What happens if I gain the knowledge of Brahma? Etasmin vidite. Etasmin akshare vidite. If this akshara indestructible Brahma is known, means if direct knowledge of Brahma is gained, vidite sati, what happens? Sarvam jagat buddham bhavi. Sarvam jagat buddham bhavi. So it is as good as entire creation, the jagat is known. Morning we have seen. How is it? If you know the cause, it is as good as entire effects are known. The entire jagat has the basis in Brahma. Entire jagat has basis in Atma or Brahma. Don't think some Brahma means sitting beyond the cloud and you have got basis in there. If you wonder how is it all about, how the entire jagat is bathed in Brahma, you have got this query, is it not in your mind? The question is in your mind, how this entire jagat or the entire creation is bathed in Brahma. Forget the jagat or creation, take your question. Where is it bathed? You have got a doubt now. That I suppose. Many may not have because they have already so advanced, whatever it is. You have got a doubt. What is that? How is it possible that entire jagat has got, the creation has got basis in Brahma? I said, for the time being, forget the jagat. You have the doubt or not? What is the basis of this doubt? What do you mean by doubt that you have got? Is it like in cartoons, no? Question marks come, on the head, no? Like this, they put it. Is it that way? There is a thought in your mind, antakarana vritti, we call precisely as antakarana vritti. So, samshayatmika antakarana vritti, or a thought of the nature of doubt. How is it? Is it? That is what we call as the doubt. What is the basis of it? Do you know it or not? Yes. By what? On account of what? That doubt being a thought, antakarana vritti. Do you know what is the actual nature? It is inert in nature. And yet you are aware of it. What does it mean? Look, here is the microphone. Are you able to see or not? If you are able to see the microphone, what is taken for granted? Of course, your eyes are there, otherwise you will not say, I know that. Light, suppose pitch darkness is there and the microphone is there. Are you able to see it? No. Why? You know for certain, microphone is non-luminous. A non-luminous object is seen, its form is seen. Whether you are aware or you are not aware, light should necessarily be there, because without light you can't see the form of anything whatsoever. Similarly, if an inert thought, how is it that entire creation has got basis in Chaitanya, basis in Brahma? If this thought you are aware of, that principle, the knowledge principle, which makes you aware of this thought, it is the Brahma Tattva. It is the Atma Tattva, otherwise called as Chaitanya Tattva. English we can put it pure awareness principle, pure consciousness principle, else otherwise it's called so Chit Tattva, not Chittam, Chit Tattva. Why? How do you say so it is that? You are aware of it. So, this, if that is the case, entire world, how are you aware of? Through the channels of antakarana vritti, the thought patterns only. Thought patterns by themselves are inert. Still you are aware of, means they have got the basis where? In Chaitanya, the pure awareness principle, what applies to one thought applies to entire creation, gross or subtle. So that being the case, so that is vidite sati sarvam jagat buddham bhave. It is as good as entire jagat is known, because entire jagat has got basis in Brahma, which is Chaitanya Tattva. If a doubt comes, one may say, Katham, how is it that? How do you say so? Answer is given the very stanza. Tasya sarvatmakattvataha. The answer, how do you say so? If this akshara, the akshara Brahma is known, entire jagat is as good as known. It says tasya. Tasya means aksharasya. That akshara. Sarvatmakattvataha. Sarvatmakattvataha means sarvaswarupataha. It is a swarupa, the true nature of everything in the creation, including us, the individual. It is the true nature, the very basis of entire creation, including ourselves. If this one principle, Chaitanya Tattva, is not there, so do you know what will happen? Only one Chaitanya Tattva take off. It can't be taken off, but just for analysis. What will be there? Nothing. You are wiser now. If Chaitanya is removed, what will be there? You can't say nothing. Do you know why? To say nothing, you have to be aware of absence of everything. That absence of everything can be known provided Chaitanya is there. That's why we say, Jagadandhyam prasajjeta. There will be stupor. Nothing is being known, which can never happen, including in the sleep. That nothing I experience the sleep, are you aware of now? Not. On waking up, you recollect, I slept well, I did not know anything. Nothing was there. Means this memory is based on earlier experience in the sleep, that at that time you did not experience anything. Everything was, that is what? Null and void, as it were. And know yourself also in the sleep. And the very fact that you recollect means you had undergone the experience. Without the Chaitanya Tattva, this Brahma Tattva, Atma Tattva, even the sleep experience will not be possible. It's the basis of entire creation. Tasya sarvatmakattvataha. So sarvatmakattvataha, sarvaswarupataha. It being the very nature of everything, the true nature of everything. So that if that is known, everything else is known. So this gives a clue. Where you have to go for knowing Brahma? Kanyakumari you have to come. Or Rameshwaram. Some are planning, I believe. Or go to Badri, Kedar, Calcutta. What you have to do? You know that doha? Lahara dhunde lahari ko kapada dhunde sur, जीवा ढूंढे ब्रह्म को तीनों ऊतके उत्सियावर रामचंद्र की जय. लहरा ढूंढे लहरी को. So you went on the beach, Kanyakumari beach, and you know how the waves one after the other they are coming. So there are waves of different size. One tiny wave was complaining, these big fellows are swallowing me, and all the time melancholic. So another wave came, oh, look, what fool you are. You are not this tiny wave, you are the vast ocean. Is it so? This wave can't do anything to you, because you are still vaster than this big wave. Is it so? Where is that ocean? This tiny wave started now finding who? Searching for who? Ocean. Where is it? Lahara dhunde lahari ko. Itself is nothing but oceanic water. Kapada dhunde sood. That is searching for the thread. You know what is that? Likewise, Jiva dhunde brahma ko. This Jiva has come all the way to Kanyakumari to know what the Brahma is. The Doha say, I think the Tulsidas will, I think. तीनों ऊत के ऊतों के ऊत, filtered idiots. PhD in idiocy. Because that is the true nature. See, look at how far a given thought is from you. I am not bothered about the type of the thought. Whether you like that thought, you don't like the thought, frightful thought or loving thought, irrespective of the texture of the thought, how far the thought is from you. Are you aware of the thought? What makes you aware of the thought? That is Brahma Tattva, that is Atma Tattva. How can we miss it? And yet, what is the truth? We don't know means attention is focused elsewhere. Simple. Attention is focused elsewhere. That is why little impartial inquiry about the world is necessary. That is the efforts that I have to put forth. I am able to get. Is it worth investing? Little sense of commerce also is required here. What is the return that is coming because of the investments of my time, energy and the effort that I put whole life long as such? Is it worth? So for that little impartial inquiry required, and from that basis we can find out, and this is our very true nature, not that we have to go somewhere, etc. But yet we have disowned because the mind is preoccupied in something which is denying us the knowledge of the true nature which we ourselves are. So in contrast to what we have mistaken ourselves to be in reality. Tasya sarvatmakatva. So this way also the Paravidya has got a distinct status, because once that knowledge is gained, is as good as entire Jagat is known. One thing, entire Jagat is known means basis is not that. If you get the knowledge, in morning we have seen that. You got knowledge, you will know physics, you will know chemistry, you will know Chinese, you will know Russian, you will know Japanese language, you will know engineering, you will know medicine. Not that way. Cause is known, all effects are as good as known. There is nothing other. The gold is known, all golden ornaments are as good as known. If the oceanic water is known, all waves, big, small, foam, froth, everything is as good as known. That way, so it has got a distinct status. Still further, another cause why, that is, this Brahma Vidya is something which is called as Sreshta, Para or superior. Navinanushtitam karma vedanam paryavasyati. Brahmadhista eva syat phaladeti paramata. Karma Vedanam, join those two words. Karma and Vedanam, not two different words. Karma Vedanam. Actually it is Karmanaha Vedanam Shashti Tatpurusha Karma Vedanam. Vedanam is Jnanam. Karma Vedanam Anushtitam Vina. Again there, Vina Anushtitam is there, no? After Na and before Nu, put one Avagraha, S type. It is Vina Anushtitam. Karma Vedanam Anushtitam Vina. There's alternate reading also is there in the place of Anushtitam, Anushtitim, which is better than Anushtitam. Karma Vedanam Anushtitam Vina or Anushtitim Vina Na Paryavasyati. Brahma Dhihi, again here also, Brahma and Dhihi, join the both words, not separate. Brahma Dhihi Tavata Eva Phalada Syat Iti Paramata. Phalada Iti by Sandhivadeti. Brahma Dhihi Tavata Eva Phalada Syat Iti paramata. See, this is the distinction between the knowledge of karma and knowledge of Brahma. See, why do you want to know any action karma? What for? Any action, whether it is Vaidika or Laukika, worldly activities or as per the Vedas. Why? Only for sake of doing? Truly speaking, you are interested in the result thereof. Actually, you are not interested in the action. Everyone wants the salary at the end of the month, but nobody wants to go to office. Is it not? If permitted, if government of India is so kind, so everybody would like to sit at home and get the salary. So what we are interested in the result and not the action. But without action you can't result. Therefore what? Musibat karke you have to take to karma. Is it not? So now we say, this is the distinction between action and Brahmadhi, Brahmajnana. So what is the nature of karma? Karma Vedanam, knowledge of act, says, Anushchitim Vina, means without the actual performance, without taking to the action, na paryavasyati, doesn't culminate means doesn't give the promised result. Na paryavasyati means na phalavat bhavati. Any action, unless you take to, unless you perform, cannot give the result. Simple, is it? Merely knowing by itself is not going to give the action. For example, you want to come to Kanyakumari. Let us say you don't know where Kanyakumari, etc. and you consulted a travel agent. And he gave you all the, at least what, how you have to travel, etc. You are in Bombay. Only because you know how to reach Kanyakumari will you reach here. You know, there are many travel agents. They will give you a perfect plan for you to go to any nook and corner of, not India, the world. But the fellow has not crossed the Brihan Mumbai Nagarapalika limits. He has not crossed the Greater Bombay boundary, he has not crossed. But sitting in his office, he can give you a perfect, that is all, guidance to go anywhere in the world. So someone who gets this guidance and travels, he will reach, but not the person who is sitting in the office. Any action, after knowing, you have to take to its execution, you have to take to its performance. Otherwise, it can't give result. Okay? Means, anusthana, performance of the action is indispensable if you care for gaining the result. Now, contrast with the Brahmadhi. Once you know what Brahma Swarupa is, nothing needs to be done. There is nothing that is to be done. Where they say, Brahmadhi, they say, Karma Vedanam, the Karma Jnanam, knowledge of action. Anushchitim Vina, without Anushtana, performance, na paryavasati, doesn't fructify. It doesn't yield the promised result. Whereas Brahmadhihi, Brahmajnana or Brahma Sakshatkara, direct knowledge of Brahma, not some picking of some information from Upanishad or text, etc. Not that way. Direct cognition must be there. So Brahmajnana, Brahma Sakshatkara, Tavata Eva. Only means by mere gaining Brahmajnana, what happens? Phalada Sya. Phalada means, what is the phala of Brahmajnana? Moksha, freedom from our limited existence of confusion, tensions and repeated births, deaths, etc. That freedom one gets. So phalada syat means mokshada syat. By what? Tavata eva. Only by that. What is that only by that? Only by Brahmajnana. Without any performance of any action, it becomes fruitful iti Because of this reason, paramata Brahmajnana is considered to be superior to aparavidya. Paravidya is superior to aparavidya. Why? In aparavidya, you know something and act accordingly to get the result. In Brahmavidya, the very Brahmavidya by itself is the final result, the freedom from limited existence, called otherwise as samsara. Do you know why it is so? Why it is so? Mere knowledge itself can give this result. Why? Because, truly speaking, our true nature, it's free from all this so-called samsara. Today we are suffering because, not knowing the true nature, we have wrongly identified with whatever that is not me. Whatever that is not truly me is mistaken as I, and unfortunately, whatever that is not truly me is nothing but source of sorrow. You can verify. Some can verify right now here itself. How? See, so long as you are aware of gross body and subtle body, the psyche, you are prone to be sorrowful. You need not be sorrowful. You are prone to be sorrowful. In sleep, you are not aware of these two. No possibility whatsoever of experiencing sorrow. What does it mean? Sorrow. And in sleep, are you there or not? Yes. In sleep, you are there, no trace of sorrow. In waking and dream, are you there or not? Yes. But there is sorrow. That means it should necessarily belong to that factor which is absent with the deep state. What is that factor? Gross and the subtle body. Even neuroscience also points this out. See, perception, when it takes place, afterward, in a certain part of the brain called limbic system, old brain and all these, etc., these perceptions are processed in terms of emotions, fear, etc., all these things. In sleep, it is not functioning, no sorrow. Even a patient suffering from cancer, if at all the person is asleep, no sorrow at all. Why? Not aware of the body. That means the case. All sorrows belong to either gross body or the psyche, but presented through the channels of antakarana, the psyche only. Even suppose, even there is a wound on your hand, if you are so much engrossed in something, though the pain is there, you are not aware. Do you know why? Physical body, there is the cause of pain, but your mind was so much preoccupied in something else, and mind is like a musical chair, only one thought at one time, and because it got occupied by something else which you are deeply interested in, there is no occasion for the thought of the pain to get reported in your mind. That's how it is. I think I told you. This Newton, you know that Newton, what happened to Newton? Someone came to meet Newton. He was a great scientist. And that gentleman knew it is very difficult to get appointment from Newton. And he got the appointment. 11 a.m. was the appointment. He came and Newton was busy in the laboratory. Strict instructions were there for the watchman that nobody should be allowed inside. So the guest was made to sit in a drawing room and he said he will come, he said. 11 o'clock, 12, 1, 2, Newton had not come at all. 2:30, 3, he can't sit there, the fellow is hungry now. So 3 p.m. at the same time he can't get up and go to some hotel or something, because if he comes and misses means again difficulty in getting the appointment. By 2:30 or 3, a servant had brought the plate, lunch for Newton and kept covered. Of course, that way Newton was well known to this gentleman as such, not totally an unknown person as such. He was so hungry, he told the servant, bring another plate, and he ate this food. And lid was put covered. At 3:30 Newton came, and when he saw, oh sorry, I forgot totally. See, scientists who say, but one thing, please excuse me, I am very hungry, I will eat and afterwards we will talk. Imagine the plight of this guest. Thali mein kya hai udhar? But it was lid was there. And before he could say something, Newton opened the lid to find empty plate and say, look, I had eaten but I forgot that I ate the food. Think of it. Because it was empty, he thought that he has already eaten. Now tell me, when he was working in the laboratory, hunger was not there? Or hunger just cropped out when he came out? Hunger was verily there, but the mind was so much preoccupied in the research that he was not aware of the hunger. When he came out, that went, oh, now realities came that he is hungry. Meanwhile, the servant brought another plate, he ate. That's how it is. So, one thought, it reports. Therefore, any experience whatsoever, good, bad, indifferent, like, dislike, needs to be reported through the channels of what you call antakana vritti, or otherwise called thought pattern. And if that corresponding thought pattern or antakana vritti is not there, that experience doesn't get reported to the individual. So that is in the case. So here, the knowledge itself is what the goal, our true nature itself is free from this, because what we have mistaken ourselves to be is the very source. So our Vedanta only, the job of Vedanta is only one thing, to set right your mistaken identity, nothing more than that. So you have mistaken yourself to be what you are not, know what you are in reality. Of course, to do that, lot of analysis and lot of preparedness of the mind is necessary, that cannot be denied. So this way, so that what is that? So the Brahmadhihi, knowledge of Brahma, is the end by itself without needing any means thereafter, and therefore it's certainly superior to karma, the actions where you should know and then act accordingly. This also proves distinct status of Brahma Vidya from Apara Vidya, rest of all the types of knowledge. The question is, if Akshara Brahma is so great, what exactly it is? What is the nature of this Akshara Brahma? That is now being explained from stanza 11 to 18. That Vedyam Aksharam. The Akshara Brahma, indestructible Brahma, which deserves to be known, Vedyam, which is fit to be known. So what is that? So that is now being explained from 11 to 18. This is based on Mundakam 116. 116. It reads like Yat tadadresham agrahyam agotram avarnam achakshushotram tadapanipadam nityam vibhum sarvagatam susukshmam tadavyayam yad bhutayonim paripashyanti dhiraha. In fact, each and every word of this mantra, the author is going to explain. So it is a big one. So it describes what this Akshara Brahma is. So one by one, these words are being, and that is explained. Tadvedyam aksharam kidrugiti chedabhidhiyate. Jnanendriyairna vidneyam grahyam karmendriyairna va. Tadvedyam aksharam kidrug. That akshara Brahma, which is to be known, what is its nature? If that is the question, abhidhiyate. Now it is being described. So he described, we'll see the Anvaya tomorrow.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तः न्याय्येन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गो ब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम्। लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु। काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः। ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।